Hello students, we will be covering the full chapter of your English book First Flight, that is, from the Diary of Anne Frank. Let's start the questions first. Question number 1. Was Anne right when she said that the world would not be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old girl? Answer is, Anne was right at the time when she thought that the world wouldn't be interested as people don't want to read about what a child thinks and her perspective towards things because of their young age. But later on, Anne Frank became one of the most discussed victims of the Holocaust, and her diary entry gave a peek for the readers into the life at that time. Question number 2. There are some examples of diary or journal entries in the Before You Read section. Compare these with what Anne writes in her diary. What language was the diary originally written in? In what way is Anne's diary different? Answer. Anne's diary is different in ways that hers is in informal form. She treats the diary not just as a piece of paper, but as a friend with whom she shared everything. Question number 3. Why does Anne need to give a brief sketch about her family? Does she treat Kitty as an insider or an outsider? Answer is, Anne, despite her unlikeness, starts with a brief sketch about her life because she felt that people won't believe a young girl like her to write about life and her thoughts. She treats Kitty more like a close friend as she didn't have a real friend with whom she can share everything. So she treated Kitty as her only close friend, and moreover, she believes that people have more patience than people do. Question 4. How does Anne feel about her father, her grandmother, Miss Couperus, and Mr. Keesing? What do these tell you about her? Answer. Anne had good memories of her father, grandmother, Miss Couperus, and Mr. Keesing, who have impacted her life and left impressions on her mind. This shows that Anne was a close observant of people and was very understanding of human relations at such a small age. Question number 5. What does Anne write in her first essay? Answer is, Anne's first essay is mainly about her friends and her class. She also writes about the punishment that she got from Mr. Keesing for being talkative in class and gave her an assignment to write on a chatterbox. She accepted the fact about being talkative in the class and the drawbacks of it also, but she writes that it was in her genes and she couldn't help as her mother is just like her. Question number 6. Anne says teachers are most unpredictable. Is Mr. Keesing unpredictable? How? Answer is, Anne was right in observing Mr. Keesing as an unpredictable teacher, as he first punished her for being talkative in the class. But after reading her essay for the second time, he allowed her to talk in the class. Question 7. What do these statements tell you about Anne Frank as a person? First, we don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that's the problem. Maybe it's my fault that we don't confide in each other. The first, here we can notice that Anne is reserved. Second is, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would, but I want the diary to be my friend. She is outspoken and confident about herself. Third, Margot went to Holland in December and I followed in February, when I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margot. It depicts the humorous nature of Anne. Fourth, if you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. But teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. Anne is smart at observing things. Fifth is, anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. Anne is a believer of being logical and putting her opinions in front. Now moving on thinking about language, first is look at the following words. headmistress, long-awaited, homework, notebook, stiff-backed, outburst. These words are compound words. They are made up of two or more words. Compound words can be nouns like headmistress, homework, notebook, outburst, and adjectives like long-awaited, stiff-backed, and also verbs like sleepwalk, babysit. Now we have to match the compound words under column A with their meanings under column B. And here we go. The first is heartbreaking, that is producing great sadness. Second, homesick, missing home and family very much. Third, blockhead, an informal word which means a very stupid person. Fourth, law-abiding, obeying and respecting the law. Fifth, overdo, do something to an excessive degree. Sixth, daydream, think about pleasant things, forgetting about the present. Seventh, breakdown, an occasion when vehicles or machines stop working. Eighth, output, something produced by a person, machine, or organization. Now the second activity is phrasal words. A phrasal verb is a verb followed by a preposition or an adverb. Its meaning is often different from the meanings of its parts. Compare the meanings of the verbs get on and run away in A and B below. You can easily guess their meanings in A, but in B they have special meanings. A. She got on at Agra when the bus stopped for breakfast. Dev Anand ran away from home when he was a teenager. B. She is eager to get on in life, which means to succeed. The visitors ran away with the match, won easily. Some phrasal verbs have three parts, a verb followed by an adverb and a preposition. Our car ran out of petrol just outside the city limits. The government wants to reach out to the people with this new campaign. Now the text you have just read has a number of phrasal verbs commonly used in English. Look up the following words in the dictionary for their meanings. First is, the text you have just read has a number of phrasal verbs commonly used in English. Look up the following in the dictionary for their meanings. There's tasks, you can do it. And it's moving into the second one. Now find the sentences in the lesson that have the phrasal verbs given below. Match them with their meanings. You have already found some meanings of some of them. And are their meanings the same as that of their parts? Now we have to find their meanings. Okay, the first is plunge in, which means go straight to the topic. Second, get back, stay indoors. Third, move up, to go to the next grade. Fourth, ramble on, speak or write without focus. Fifth, get along with, have a good relationship with. Sixth, calm down, make remain quiet. Seventh, stay in, not promoted. Eighth, make up for, compensate. Ninth, hand in, give an assignment to a person in authority. The third is idioms. Idioms are groups of words with a fixed order and a particular meaning, different from the meanings of each of the words put together. Phrasal verbs can also be idioms. They are said to be idiomatic when their meaning is unpredictable. For example, do you know what it means to meet one's match in English? It means to meet someone who is as good as oneself or even better in some skill or quality. Do you know what it means to let the cat out of the bag? Can you guess? Now here are a few sentences from the text which have idiomatic expressions. Can you see what each means? You might want to consult the dictionary first. The first is, our entire class is quaking in its boots. It means shaking with fear and nervous. Second, until then we keep telling each other not to lose heart. Not to think about negative side, but hope for the best. The third is, Mr. Keesing was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much, which means for quite a long time. Mr. Keesing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I'd make sure the joke was on him, which means joke would be on him only. The second exercise is here are a few more idiomatic expressions that occur in the text. Try to use them in sentences of your own. First, caught my eye, which means something that catches attention. The usage in sentences is, the beautiful floral dress of the little girl caught my eye. Second is, he had had enough, which means unhappy with the situation. Usage in a sentence is, the supervisor told the co-workers that they had had enough and should be quick with the project submission. Third is, laugh ourselves silly, which means to laugh uncontrollably. We laughed ourselves silly on his stupid jokes. Fourth, can't bring myself, means not to be able to force yourself to do something. Usage in a sentence is, she couldn't bring herself to terms with him. Now we are done with the first part of this chapter. Second is Amanda by Robert Klein, and we'll cover the question first. Question number 1, how old do you think Amanda is? How do you know this? Answer is, Amanda would be around 9-year-old girl who is being scolded by her parents for every other things. They are trying to inculcate in her good manners, but she seems too young for her age to learn these etiquettes. Question number 2, who do you think is speaking to her? Answer, it seems that her mother is speaking to her. A mother is mostly given the duty to look after her children's behavior and manners. So from the instructions it seems it's Amanda's mother. Question number 3, why are stanzas 2, 4 and 6 given in parentheses? Answer is, these stanzas are given in parentheses as they reflect on the inner feelings of Amanda as she cannot speak them out. If done so, she would be scolded for talking back. It shows her reactions to every instructions that she is being given. Question number 4, who is the speaker in stanzas 2, 4 and 6? Do you think the speaker is listening to the speaker in stanzas 1, 3, 5 and 7? Answer is, the speaker in the stanzas 2, 4 and 6 is Amanda, and she isn't listening to the speaker in stanzas 1, 3, 5 and 7. That is her mother, as she is lost in her own thoughts and revolving in some other imaginary world. Question number 5, what could Amanda do if she were a mermaid? Answer, if Amanda were a mermaid, she would be the sole inhabitant of the beautiful sea, and she would be living her life on her own terms and would be happy in her own space. Question number 6, is Amanda an orphan? Why does she say so? Answer is, no, Amanda isn't an orphan, but she wishes to be one rather than living with the constant nagging of her parents and instructing to do this, not that. The lines depicts that she wanted a break and some time to herself of silence and freedom. Question number 7, do you know the story of Rapunzel? Why does she want to be a Rapunzel? Answer is, the story of Rapunzel revolves around her life on a tower where she is made to live by a witch. As she gets used to it, she enjoys living up there and is satisfied with her own company. The witch uses her long golden locks to climb up to the tower. Amanda also wishes to be a Rapunzel, to stay away from everyone and not to care about anything, but she thinks she would never let her long hair to let anyone come to her. Question number 8, why does the girl yearn for? What does this poem tell you about Amanda? Answer is, the girl yearns for freedom and some space for herself. She is not able to become the kind of girl her parents are expecting of her. She still has that innocence and playful nature who is wary of all these things. Amanda represents all those children who are expected to behave in a certain way by their parents and elders and are expected to fit in their paradigms. No one tries to understand what they really want. Question number 9. Read the last stanza. Do you think Amanda is sulking and is moody? Answer is, Amanda is neither sulking nor moody. It's just that her parents want her to behave in a mature way that makes them finding her moody and not being attentive to what they say. That's all about this chapter. I hope it helped with your learning. Take care.